Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to color and swatch my Crayola Supertip markers. We're going to start out with my pastel super tips. There are 20 in the pack. I also have 120 of the regular super tips plus the silly scents. And unfortunately these are fine tipped Colors of the World skin tone markers. So starting out with our first set of swatches, we're going to do the Crayola Supertips Pastel. Each marker does have a name. As you can see, here is the shade range. You will see that once it gets to the yellow and orange, it is a little bit lacking in shade range. I wish there was just a few more yellows and oranges in this set. But still very pretty pastel colors, and I color with pastels a lot, so I think I'm really going to enjoy this set. Alright, moving on to the Colors of the World. Again, I said these are fine tips. You will find the names and kind of swatches, if you will, on the side of the box. Starting with the almond set, you will find that these are very kind of cool tone, neutral shade range for skin tones. They're very nice. You come with a few more markers in the almond set than you do in the golden or rose sets. But as you'll see, it's a pretty big shade range as far as coloring goes for skin tones. One thing to remember is that these are super tips and they do not blend. So you won't be able to kind of blend blush shades or contour shades or things like that. You'll also notice that when you get to the very light or extra light in any of the sets, that they are barely visible. So unless you're coloring on stark white paper, you may not see those light or very light colors when you're coloring. So our goldens, of course, have the yellow undertones. And now moving into the rose shade tones, you'll see that these are kind of a red undertone or a pinky undertone. And so yeah, just a really, really nice shade range. Next, we'll be swatching the Supertips 100 and the Super Scents Silly Scents. Starting off with the red tones. Now, what you will find with the Crayola Supertips is that these do not have names, which is why you don't see any written out there. They actually have numbers or like letters and numbers, a little code on the side associated with each marker, but yeah, no names. That's okay. So we're starting off with the reds and we'll transition into the pinks. to the Crayola Supertips with the Silly Scents. These do have very good smelling, strong smelling scents. So if you enjoy the silly scents like I did when I was a child, you will really enjoy these. Some of them smell better than others, but most of them actually smell really, really, really good. I really like the lemon and the pineapple and the cotton candy. Those are always some of my favorite scents. So you'll see that they have a pretty diverse shade range. Some of them honestly kind of look like repeats from the 100s, but maybe just with a scent added. You'll also see that a couple of the markers came already dried out, which was really sad, but that's okay. So ice cream and root beer, you'll see when I swatch root beer in a second, it also doesn't have colors, but those two do have scents, ironically, and they smell very good still, but just not usable to color with. Overall, I really love Crayola Supertips. I use them a lot to doodle and draw and take notes. I use them to color, not often, kind of rarely, even though you'll see in my first two videos on this channel, I am using the Crayola Supertips. But let's move on to organizing. So these organizers I found on Amazon. They are actually pen organizers, but they fit the Supertip markers perfectly, as you can see. So starting off with the pastel set, we're going to add those. Each of these acrylic stands have 96 holes, so perfect for all 164 of my Supertip markers. that will do it for today. As always, thank you for watching me. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you guys next Tuesday for another coloring video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.